Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. It is 6:40 a.m. East Coast time, Friday, July 26th. I'm doing this a day earlier by I don't know, 30 hours or so. Tomorrow afternoon is the WNBA All-Star game. I get it. Total degenerate status, playing a showdown slate, All-Star game. I'm not saying I'm playing, and you're going to see why this is as variant as an all-star game as any of the other professional sports, even the NBA, which is more projectable, but tougher to see where minutes are going to go and project that in that terms for one of the games showdown slate. Even tougher for the WNBA due to the past and how these showdown slates and how the all-star games overall kind of play out. So, with that said, I do want to kind of get into it. First off, just thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm sorry if I'm in this little box still. I know, I get it. I'm sorry if it's dark. I'm sorry if the volume's not that great. I'm shooting in a business center right now because my parents are staying for the weekend while I move into my new apartment in North Carolina. They're in the living room on a nice, huge queen vault mattress, this elegant thing. I don't know why the hell they bought that one. And then my girlfriend's in the bedroom, so only place to shoot it was here. Figured I'd get it out. The projections are up. You can see them right now. So for all the patrons, you have access to this. I'm showing this as just sort of for free today because it's a showdown slate. There's nothing really to it. It's tough to project anyways. But I'll give you some tips on how to approach showdown. There's a $5,000 first prize pool. I do cover WNBA, so why not? I covered the NFL showdown slate. I covered the MLB showdown slate, and I covered the NBA showdown slate, all of which I thought were fun. Obviously, throw one lineup in, have some fun with it, or don't throw any in, right? The $1 million one was for, I believe, the NBA, or I don't remember what it was, but that was crazy. So either way, we'll get into this. If you can hit the like button, I appreciate that. If you hit the subscribe button, maybe you're new here, maybe you love the WNBA and you're just discovering my channel. I cover it every single day. I cover it in a daily, in a fantasy sports perspective. So maybe not the way that you like to see it covered, or just in a general sense, but I do cover it that way, and it is detailed. I know a good amount about the WNBA. I'm excited to cover this. The All-Star game should be fun. These are the best players in the league. You finally get to see them all square off against each other. The teams are stacked. Della Danae's team is just absolutely stacked. I mean, when you have Jonquil Jones and Della Danae and Nika, I believe, on the same team, it's just ridiculous. And then even more players. It's just a crazy team overall. Tina Charles, I believe, is on the team. It's nuts. So, yeah, we'll get into it quickly. If you can hit the like button, that helps me. Hit the subscribe button if you are new and you want to get value first. I appreciate that. If you're returning and not subscribed yet, just take 2 seconds. If you could push it. 45% of the viewers are right now not subscribed. So that really does help me if we can get there into the NFL season. So it's going to be a quick video. This is my projections. You can see them right here. It's blown up on the screen for you. So what am I doing right now is I already took out A'ja Wilson. She is not going to be playing. She's a captain, but sort of an honorary captain. She is not playing with her injury. And Kia Nurse is questionable right now with some sort of shoulder injury. She came out of the last game on Sunday. I doubt she plays. I get it. It's almost a week later, 6 days later, so maybe she does. I have her in for 10 minutes just to kind of be a placeholder. But if she's out, I will update that in the projections. But here's the deal. With the WNBA All-Star games in the past, players rarely see 20 minutes. Last year, Della Danae saw the most minutes at 21 minutes and 46 seconds, so call it 22 minutes. She was a captain last year, and Candace Parker was another captain. She's obviously not in this game. So last year, players to see 19 or more minutes out of the roster right now, 22 of them, 23 really with A'ja Wilson who's out. So players to see 19 or more minutes last year, it was only about 11 players. To play players to see 20 or more minutes, then it drastically cuts off to, I believe, 3 players. So yeah, you're not going to get a lot of players. It's not like the NBA All-Star game where they don't distribute it. If you start, you're pretty much seeing 30 plus. In this, if you start, you're probably seeing maybe locked in for 19 instead of 17, and maybe you hit 20. So the minutes are going to go around, which means the production is going to go around. So it's really hard to pinpoint, much more, and this is where I was prefacing earlier, much more than any other showdown slate for an All-Star game. Hard to pinpoint where production is going to come from. Now, obviously, in baseball, you don't know who's going to get the hits and things like that, but at least you know players are going to get at bats. In this, we know everybody's going to have the exact same minutes. So at that point, what do? Well, at that point, you really rely on value. If everybody's going to get relatively the same minutes, who is a good point per minute producer? In terms of the defensive matchups, I just have it all neutralized. I have every single player as having a bottom 3 matchup in the league today. Well, because all these are the best players in the league, and you don't get to the All-Star game by being terrible at defense, or at least most of these players, the far majority don't. So I have it as a difficult matchup for everybody today. Bottom 3 in the league with 0.95 DVP. Anything below 1 means difficult. Anything at 0.9 means the toughest in the league. So right there in terms of being bottom of the league average. So below average, but bottom of the league, bottom third of the league, I guess you can say. So with that said, breaking that into it, you want to try and find value, but you also want to try and find those players that have points upside. So obviously, I like Elena Delle Donne. I believe she's going to have the most minutes at 22 today. I have her as the best fantasy point per minute producer today on this slate, and I have her at 28.3. 28.4 fantasy points. That's 3 more than anybody else. So she's by far a player of interest of mine, and I don't think that's going to shock anybody. But when you get down into it and you're trying to identify maybe some value type plays, I think John Paul Jones at 7,800 provides some value, at least like $1,000 to $500 off some of these top end options. Again, on Della Dene's team, I have her at 20 minutes today, have her at 25.2 fantasy points, the third highest score. If you want to look in terms of value and you really are trying to search somewhere and find a lot of value, I don't know how you don't go, and I'm not really sure what's going on here in terms of Tina Charles. Is Tina Charles not playing the All-Star game? Because why is Tina Charles free right now? That's my question for everybody. Tina Charles must not be playing in this All-Star game, because right now Tina Charles is $4,600, and I just don't understand it, unless she's just not going to start. So unless I missed some sort of news that Tina Charles is not playing in the All-Star game, I mean, obviously she's going to be one of the best, if not the best value on the slate at $4,600 as a big. All the bigs here are going to have difficult matchups. She's a 0.98 to a 1 fantasy point per minute producer on the year. I only have her at 18.6 minutes today. I have her at 20 or 18.6 fantasy points because I have her at 20 minutes with a difficult matchup. But that's still at 18.6 fantasy points at $4,600. You can do anything you want then. So I don't know. I'm going to have to double check. And if so, I'll make an update on Patreon. You can get my projections updated for not just this slate, but every slate on Patreon, link down below. I'm not sure why she's that price point. That actually is just occurring to me right now. But yeah, the thing is, you're not missing out. These are all great players. They're all great fantasy point per minute producers because that's why they're in the All-Star game. So the opportunity cost is not that high. Obviously, you want like a Della Dene or one of these top-end options that you know will be consistent and be there. I like Della Dene the most, and I kind of already expressed that. But when you're going down, looking for cheap players is fine because they're still going to see in that range of 16 to 18 to 20 minutes even. So when you have like an Alyssa Thomas at $3,800, she's still going to get her minutes. Last year, Brittany Griner was the only person not to see 15 or more minutes, and she only had 9. And I believe that was due to an injury scare, but I'm not positive. So, yeah, you're going to get 15 plus minutes out of all these players, probably 17 plus. It's so thin how they spread the minutes around. They want everybody to be on the court for like the same amount of time. They want democracy there. They want everything to be fair, whatever it might be. Or I guess socialism, who knows what that is at that point. But yeah, it is. It's interesting to me because I think it's fine to take an Alyssa Thomas at 1 fantasy point per minute. She is not that great against the bigs that she'll be going up against, right? Compared to all of them, she's probably the worst, one of the worst, if not the worst. But how do you not go there? How do you not want to buy a $3,800 Alyssa Thomas or vice versa, or $2,800 Candice Dupree? These players are still going to see around 17 minutes. They're still really good fantasy point per minute producers. Dupree's a little bit worse than some of the other players. Alyssa Thomas, a 1 fantasy point per minute producer on the year. Dupree's 0.73. So I get it if you don't want to go to Dupree, but she's also the cheapest player on the slate. So yeah, Dupree gets a value rating of 0.47 for me. The higher the better. The highest value rating for me by far is Erica Wheeler at 0.56. I have Erica Wheeler at 18 fantasy points, a fantasy point per minute producer. Or 18 minutes, fantasy point per minute producer, 16.9 fantasy points, and only $3,000 flat. Now, obviously, there gets to a point where you can't just plug and place all the value and think you made the best lineup because you need the highest point totals. So, on a slate like this for the WNBA, I'm kind of mixing and matching. I want the top-end players who should be consistent, who should be starting, who should be seeing 20-plus minutes because we know there's probably only going to be a handful, probably 5 at most, that see 20-plus minutes. Elena Della Dene, as a captain, you could be damn sure, unless an injury or something happens, she's going to see over her 20 minutes. She should be right up there in terms of overall points. But again, you could have a player play 17 minutes and be the highest scoring fantasy producer because she just hits 3 threes or picks up 4 blocks, right? It's so variant. So I want you to keep that in mind. Just because I have a projection system here, yes, it makes you identify the value better. It makes you understand what the slate context is. And there's the lights. Lights keep going on and off. I apologize in this room for this business center because I'm in a weird spot in the corner. But yeah, it's more important than ever to realize that this is a showdown slate, 1. So with that being said, since it is a showdown slate, it's going to be extremely variant. So leave money on the table is one thing that I have. And yeah, for cash, it's okay to use these projections right here, but it's a showdown slate. So projections for showdown slates, for the most part, all they do for you is identify who the best options are, which most people can already do. But then they do also identify value. So players that you should be getting to or trying to get to based on their price point and fitting in the best or highest optimal lineup. So that's kind of what optimizers do. So that's it. That was just like a brief rundown right now. Like I do like Elena Della Dene a lot. I like John Paul Jones a lot at the $7,800 price tag. You can obviously talk me into Natasha Howard at $8,800. I do prefer Natasha Howard and Jones over Liz Cambage. I do believe Liz Cambage is kind of a candidate to not see 20 plus minutes. She just rarely gets 30 plus minutes in the regular season, so being limited in an all-star game wouldn't shock me. And at that price point, I'm willing to go elsewhere for really, honestly, $1,000 or $2,000 cheaper when it comes to Howard and Jones. Wnba is somebody who's interesting. This could be a player who hits 4 threes, 5 threes in the All-Star game, and at $9,000 is a much need. So a player with that kind of upside is always going to be interesting to me. But also, I want to get to as many forwards. Forwards in the WNBA are similar to centers in the NBA. They score the most fantasy points at the position. Just nobody is better than them. Now, obviously, in an All-Star game, you're going to be getting the best forwards against the best forwards. But even then, I think they still have an advantage compared to the best guards against the best guards, because you have to rely on the 3-ball and assists for those guards, whereas the forwards can easily pick up rebounds to get to their double-double upside, and that's really what you are trying to see today. So the best advice I can give is attack the top-end premier players. Dfs is by far another level for me, and then Howard and Jones kind of file in as players that I would be fine getting to and want to get to, and then go all the way down to the bottom. I mean, you could float around in the mid-range. Getting a Diamond Shields at $5,000 is obviously great, but Alicia Thomas is in a fantastic spot. Odyssey Sims at 3,600 should see around 18 minutes, and we know Odyssey Sims has never seen a shot that she doesn't like to take. So players like that. Collier is now a rookie who got into the All-Star game at the last second. I still think she sees 15 plus minutes. She's 3,400. She's a forward. She's been really good on the year. For Minnesota at 0.9 fantasy points per minute, she becomes the third best value play on the slate for me. The best value as of right now is Erica Wheeler, but that said, I'm kind of hesitant because she is a guard. Guard depth, I believe, is a little bit thinner, though, for Erica Wheeler, due to the fact that she is going to be just on a team where the guard depth is thinner compared to the forwards. There's going to be more forwards, I believe, in the team. I could be wrong, but what I'm seeing right here, it seems like that. So yeah, that's it. The strategy is leave money on the table. The strategy is not take this too seriously because there's only 5,000 the first prize pool and it's a showdown slate. But if you are somebody who's going to max enter this or enter many of lineups, I would leave money on the table. I would set my max cap exposure to, like, honestly, a showdown slate, there's not that many. There's like 5,000, so you might not have to leave too much, but I'd say set it to like 49,800 or something. Leave like $200 on the table on all your lineups. And yeah, I'd probably lock in Elena Delle, but if you're entering 150, that's probably not a good idea. So that's where I'm at. Stars and scrubs builds for me, because the players that are $3,000 are still going to see the same minutes as the players that are $8,000, and they have a very similar point per minute, so it makes no sense not to. That's the way the WNBA is. Everyone was bunched into the 17 to 20 minute range. Delle was the highest last year. Minutes at 21.46. Nobody touched 22 minutes. So in the year before that, it was the same type of just split production. Everybody wants to get on the court, which I think is nice. It's not, you shouldn't take it too seriously, the game. It's nice that you're there, but at least let everybody get the experience. So my name is Sal. Hopefully this helps. My name is Sal. Wow, that didn't sound like my name. Hopefully this helps. Best of luck tonight, everybody, or tomorrow, whenever this comes out. Follow me on Twitter at Wnba Dfs. If you made it this far and you're a DGen like I am, then you're talking about WNBA showdown slates, all-star games, hit the subscribe and like button. Appreciate it so much. Peace out, gang.